Ready. Thad's not even here. I mean, I don't even know what to do anymore, Neil.
Well, we're live.
Can't see your face.
Can't see my face. That's fine. That's fine right now. They don't.
Wants to see
Nobody wants to see my face anyway. They just care about what I say.
Yeah, no one's watching us at the moment anyway. Everybody's over in the halls.
Yeah, sadly, it was not Scotty McLaren who went up against Urs today, but, you know.
One day, maybe. In the not-too-distant future. And they'll definitely be streaming that stuff. They'll have to. Yeah. There has got to be a way to have the video of two people up and be able to switch backwards and forwards between their various different what's the word I'm looking for?
Well, I mean, we're still trying to figure out how to do that for our Runes of Magic streams.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 7th episode of Talking Picard. I'm Paul Anthony, joined as always by Neil Andrew Eyre and Thaddeus's chair.
Thaddeus's chair and apropos icon.
Yes, apropos icon is always welcome here in the Escape Pod. So, I'm sure we'll get apropos soon. He was grabbing his breakfast because he.
There he is.
There There he is.
Hello, everybody.
He's gone landscape.
Yes.
There we go. Are we live already?
Yes.
We are live already. We're just waiting on Thad to talk
Yeah.
about this. I'm trying to fix what's in back because I had a failure at one point.
Well, Thad is dead. Thad's dead.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
why he's
Thad's
not there. Thad's dead.
right.
That's dead, baby. It's all the chair again.
I tell you though, that chair makes good points.
Yeah, we don't need that. We got the chair.
We got the chair.
What am I? Where
And
am I trying to
we got all his bobbleheads. Actually, no, they're not bobbleheads. What are they called?
They're Funko Pops.
Funko Pops.
Yeah.
Is a Funko Pop technically a bobblehead, though?
They're
Because the head
Funko
does
Pops
bobble,
are
doesn't it?
bobble, do they?
bobble heads.
Because the head bobbles, doesn't it?
Sometimes, not always.
You
No,
touch
it's
it and it
like-
goes bobbly, 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 bobbly,
Hand me
bobbly.
Holdo there.
Yeah, I can't read.
All right, fine. So, Holdo is a bobblehead.
Oh,
And
okay.
it does say at the very bottom, it does say bobblehead.
Yeah. So Funko Pops are bobbleheads. So I was right the first time.
But not all pops are bobbleheads. Some just
Don't you mean the other way?
Ah!
Don't you mean the other way around? Not all bobbleheads are Funko Pops.
not all. Well, no, I mean not.
There's a Venn diagram of bobbleheads. And
Not all hot
See,
tubs.
all
are huge.
bobbleheads are bobbleheads, but not all bobbleheads are Funko Pops.
We're talking about my collection here.
Yeah, we were just kind of killing time until everybody was here.
Here, can you show him one that is not a bobblehead? No, show him one that's not.
Have you got a
bubble-
Funko Pop?
I know how much he loves the sequel series, and so so
Do you
I
have a
don't know if you
Funko Pop
guys-
that does not have a bobblehead?
Yeah, there you go. There's
Oh,
one
there
that
we go.
does not have a bobble.
I don't know if you guys ever watched Son of Zorn, but you should have.
Yeah,
It's
but
half
that is-
cartoon.
Show him underneath where it is not a bobblehead.
no upskirt shots. Come on. Let's run a classy podcast here.
Oh,
Yeah. So my parents went to
what
a
kind of
flea
podcast
market
are we
today,
doing here?
and I did not go with them. And apparently there were Baby Yoda Baby Yoda hats at this flea market that I did not go to today. So I will be sure to go next time so I can get one.
But this is the Star Trek stream.
Yeah. Okay. So let's
Yes.
talk about Star Trek then. Right.
I just need to get this darn picture up in the back.
Excuse
And we
me.
have a dog attacking in the middle of the stream.
I just want to know about. Oh, and I lost my thought. Never mind. Don't mind me. I'm just turning into morning shift for overnights here.
So what do you do, apropos? Like, where do you work?
I worked for a food and medical based plastics company. I work in the printing department, so I actually play with the ink. So
Oh,
I literally get to paint by numbers.
All right,
Hey, how often do you get to play with colors for a living, right?
that's true. That's true.
The downside is it's a 24-hour rotational thing, so I spend a week on one shift, a week on another shift, a week on the third shift, and then rotate back.
That's tough.
This week it's overnight. Part of the reason why I suggested earlier tonight. Also
Yeah.
why I'm eating oatmeal for breakfast.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, I wouldn't
sure
blame
I
you
got-
if you were eating oatmeal for dinner, because oatmeal is delicious.
Cereal can be eaten anytime.
So hold on. 2 questions: is a hot dog a sandwich? And is cereal considered soup?
That depends.
Cereal
You
is
put
not
milk
soup.
Or cereal into the bowl first, because if you do it wrong, we're going to have problems.
Cereal first, then
Cereal
milk.
first.
A hot dog
Okay.
is
Hold
a
on.
sandwich because it's meat between 2 pieces of bread.
Yeah, right.
But cereal is not soup.
Well, so I have a caveat to apropos thing. I put milk in the bowl first, only if it's on the second round of eating
Yeah.
cereal.
If it's still there because it got left over, that means you're allowed more cereal without using
Yeah.
more milk, and that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's
All soup is hot with one exception, and the
Gazpacho.
exception being gazpacho.
I can't say I've ever had that soup.
The only thing from Russia that I like is cabbage. And I don't view that as like a Russian thing. But I know apparently they eat
just
Russian.
rank. Why would you even eat that stuff?
Cabbage or gazpacho?
Cabbage.
It's delicious.
Gazpacho's alright.
Season 1 of Picard, episode 7. The Penth?
Let's just keep talking about soup.
I want to defend cabbage because
my old man would defend cabbage. I ain't defending cabbage because cabbage is rank.
Lost everybody.
I don't
we
have
started?
high hopes for the score.
Yeah, we started. We've been streaming for 7 minutes now, mate.
Oh, all right.
Your chair is making some good points, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, did I interrupt everything when I came back in?
No, because
No,
we were
you
just
and I
waiting.
were-
We were waiting for you to come anyway. We went live. What we were just having a conversation with your chair. Your chair was making some good points.
Yeah, cabbage is fantastic.
No, it
Thank
isn't.
you, Dagger. I love cabbage. Coleslaw. You just boil cabbage, throw salt and pepper on it. It's delicious.
Like
Lazy
eggs.
man.
Those have cabbage in them.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay.
so now, does this give us a hint on the overall warp cores of this episode, or is
I don't know. I don't know. But the flashback that we begin with, since we always get a flashback, it appears, at the beginning of episodes, is just 3 weeks ago at the Daystrom Institute, where Commodore O approaches the Doctor, and O urges her to go join Jean-Luc, and apparently gets a Romulan mind meld,
Mm-hmm.
and is shown the destruction of the world, and then she eats a tracker. And literally, that is what happened. She ate a tracker.
Okay, I gotta say, opening thought. The first thing that when she put it in her mouth, my thought was, that's not for oral insertion. And I was like, please make that comment. Please, like, no, don't put it in your mouth. That's not how you take it, right? Because, I mean,
If you
she
put
did
it
have
in
the
your mouth, you have to
caveat,
swallow.
you have to bite it. But my first, I mean, I was like, this is going to go in the other way. I'm sorry. Totally. Anyways. I'll hide behind my mic.
Man, when they made this character, they must have rolled a 1 for her ability to just stand up for herself. Like,
Yeah.
this girl flops at everything. How did she make it through life? The amount of spineless I see in this character. I understand you guys are more interested in her than Rafty, but this character has no spine.
No,
Rafty's
I'm
just
slowly
down.
losing faith in this character. I really am.
Yeah.
She was written so well the first 5 episodes. She was really, really written well. I was loving the character first 5 episodes. But it started going kind of like teetering off last episode. But this episode, I'm like, my God, who the hell are you? You're a completely different person to the character. So
No, she's still the same person. It's the person I saw that I didn't like.
I think that she's the same person. I think she was putting on a mask. Clearly, she was putting on a mask. But I still think she's going to be very much redeemed. I think that if this continues the way I think it's going to, this character is absolutely going to be redeemed in an incredibly tragic way.
Well, no, it's well. Think about it, right? She had the burden of knowledge before the last episode, and she seems to be racked with the burden of knowledge in this episode, but she wasn't racked with the burden of knowledge in any of the previous episodes when she was on the ship. She was happy and laughing and chatting away and talking. And yes, I get that she's, pretty messed up in the head now, having killed, her lover. But it all seems to be, the flashback, as Paul pointed out, seems to be, more about the knowledge that she was, given from the commander. Sorry, from the admiral.
Commodore.
Commodore?
Commodore.
From the Commodore. that seems to be what's weighing on her mind at the moment. And I'm like, well, why wasn't it weighing on your mind like 3 weeks ago,
So
2 weeks ago, 1 week ago?
Okay, he covered up my head. So my theory is the first couple episodes where we see her and she's very happy-go-lucky and she's very naive but earnest happened before this instance with Commodore O, because by the time Commodore shows up, she's already met with Picard and given him all the information. So all of that earnestness of the first few episodes, we can appreciate that was really her. And then the Commodore gives her this freaky mind meld. So she looks Vulcan, but we know that she's Romulan. So now we have to think Romulans can do mind melds. I think that she planted these memories deep within Jahardi. So Jahardi wasn't even aware of it at first. Like that maybe it's kind of like a post-hypnotic suggestion sort of thing. She thinks she's just joining for her own noble wanting to see a synth until she sees Maddox. And then this programming kicks in and she's forced to kill him. I think that's going to be kind of how it shapes up, that she had this tragic, traumatizing experience having to kill him, and because of what she knew and what she was forced to do. I don't think her character as she was originally presented to us, no matter what she was shown, I don't think she could have made that call without being forced somehow.
No, you make a good point. You make a good point.
Hold on.
I like Neil. He's saying I have a good point.
No. Think about Star Trek. Think about Star Trek. The movie, The Search for Spock. Obviously at the end of Wrath of Khan, Spock does the mind melt with McCoy, and McCoy's fine until he has some kind of experience which kind of triggers the change in his personality, and he needs to find, he needs to go to, Genesis so that he can get all of that freaky stuff out of his head and put it back into a Spock body, So that does kind of make sense.
And here's the problem with your idea, though, Christy, is the fact that she shows her what will come, and she knows she has to kill Maddox in that. So she already knew that that's what was going to happen.
But that doesn't mean she consciously knew as soon as Commodore O walked away. Maybe
I'm 50-50.
Made her forget what happened in the last 10 minutes until she sees him.
I agree with you up until she joins the ship, right? Until she gets on the ship. I think you're absolutely right about her character, who she is as a person, all of that stuff. 100%. I see where you're coming from with the post-hypnotic, but she does respond to the Commodore, what do you need me to do? Or something to that effect. Yeah. And it's like, she knows. I think maybe she could have had it forgotten, right? Because this,
that's a good point. Yeah, that does make a good point there, Christy.
Yeah, and
with her response, she wasn't made to forget. She does respond after, what do you want me to do? So she consciously is asking for instructions. What do you want me to do? And then she goes to the ship and she's all happily and bubbly, even though she's got the burden of all of that knowledge. And then obviously in this episode, the burden of that knowledge is clearly eating her up inside.
Yeah.
Well,
I think... Go ahead, apropos.
Oh, she did say... Yeah, sorry. She did say that she wished she didn't see the things that she had seen, so she knew she saw them.
Yeah, she did that. So, she said that in the last episode, didn't she? Yeah.
Yeah, so she's definitely had that on her consciousness, but apparently her spine was just strong enough to prop her up till this episode.
Yeah, exactly.
And but the thing is, I think that she didn't think they were going to be successful in finding Maddox. I think that's what it comes down to. It's one thing to join the crew on this will they, won't they kind of a mission. She doesn't know Picard, not really. She knows of him, but she doesn't know him. And so going on this crew, I think it could be very easy for her to say, well, we're not going to find him. He's been missing for years. He hasn't returned any of my drunk dials or whatever. It's very possible for her to for me to think that she just didn't expect they would find him. And then once she's confronted with him, I think that is a huge thing. Because again, and this is just anybody. You can talk a big game until you're in the moment, but the moment that you have to pull the trigger, and her, it's almost literal. I mean, she doesn't have a gun or anything, but it's the same outcome. It's a very different thing.
Didn't stop her banging the captain though.
It did.
Called it.
But again, as we mentioned the last time, look at that man's body and those beautiful eyes.
He would definitely. We both agree that he would definitely make us swing that direction. Bad.
Yeah.
All right, so we are currently jumping a little bit ahead. Right after the flashback, we get a shot of the board.
Sorry, Paul. Hang on. I have a question regarding the attack on Mars, which is part of the flashback, sort of, because she gives her the future of it. What are the odds, and this, I need a tinfoil hat for this one. What are the odds that that's Control? Thank you. Control from Discovery is the reason why it's such an insane anti-AI thing. Is that how they're going to tie us into Discovery? Was Control the reason why all the AIs went nutsoid and decided to attack humans?
That is a nice.
Neil doesn't know that because he didn't watch Discovery.
I only watched season 1 of Discovery. I didn't watch season 2.
What's Discovery?
Basically, Control is like a 10,000-year-old computer program left behind by some ancient race. Took over and turned out to be extremely self-preserving to the point of being willing to do anything and everything to annihilate all life.
Oh, so they ripped off Red Dwarf. So they ripped off.
No,
Red
we don't
Dwarf.
have any cat people.
I like that theory. I could see that being something that they want to tie in. But my personal theory about why Mars was attacked is I think that it is like deep-seated shadow organization within Starfleet and within the Tal Shiar that's going to end up there. They did this themselves in order to create the perfect conditions for them to take over. I think that it's going to be a conspiracy plot.
So by allowing their home planet
Yep.
to get destroyed, which apparently causes a collapse of an empire. I'm sorry, how many planets do you have? And losing one planet destroyed it all? But moving past that, like letting their home planet go is, well, that would be a very Romulan thing. Sacrifice your home planet in order to take out the Federation.
I don't know if that was part of it, but definitely I believe that the attack on Mars was that they like hacked the AI in order to create the conditions that they needed in order to get rid of the synths, because they have some doomsday end of times kind of prophecy that they're trying to bring about, and they're using it to get their power. Yeah.
What's your speculation here?
What's your
All right. So here's the thing. Like, coming to the Star Trek with zero knowledge, I view Federation as Earth, right? It's Earth's baby. Am I wrong in saying that? Like, it's
No.
galaxy-wide, but it's Earth's thing, right?
Vulcan-Earth hybrid.
So the concept of the Federation, and if this is all about proximity, right? If you want to be close to power, what do? You move close to power. If you want to influence like the U.S., you move close to D.C. or Virginia, right? Whatever. They wanted power, and so they moved a civilization to Mars in the adjacent solar system. But then by blowing it up, it's like a political structure. It's like if they blew up Virginia.
Mars is in our solar system, eh? It's just a planet closer.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's
the Romulans moved to Mars.
The Romulans moved to Mars.
Weren't moving them. They didn't move them to Mars, though.
No, Mars was just the staging point for building the ships to rescue people from Romulus.
Yeah.
And then they were moved
then I
to
missed the
another
whole thing.
location.
I have no idea what I'm talking
But maybe
about.
that's
Hat off.
going to be is that they they blew up all of Mars so that they could secretly infiltrate and build a colony there to take over Earth. You might be onto something.
Yeah. See, Christy followed me. She knew.
See, this was the problem was until recently when I gave Thaddeus some of the money from the network to go and get a CBS subscription. What he was doing is he was watching CDS and he was watching the show Picard.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hope you weren't watching that with your kids.
No. Picard is the name of, and I'm going to turn this around on you, Paul. That is the name of the guy from.
Oh, we lost Thaddeus.
Yeah, we've lost Thaddeus's audio.
We lost your audio.
His theory is so amazing, it blew his audio out.
We can't hear you.
You'll have to change your...
Everybody put their hands over their ears. We can't hear you.
He doesn't have a mic now.
No, you're muted.
We can't hear you.
Oh, this is a great episode today, isn't it? 7 minutes of cabbage talk.
Like signs.
I'm about to run out of coffee. This ain't fair.
Yeah, I ran out.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now we can hear you.
Oh,
Okay.
there it is.
Okay, I could hear you the whole time, but so this isn't working. Can you hear me?
Yes.
We're running. We're running off the microphone off your camera.
I'm going to turn this around on you. Picard is the name of the main character from Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, which is the novel that started the Blade Runner series, and they changed the name. So take that, sir. I nerded you out.
I was about to say, I thought his name was Packard.
No, it's probably something else, but it's Eckerd or I don't know.
It's Packard. I'm sure it's Packard.
It's not Packard.
Packard. I'm sure it's Packard. Been a while since I watched Blade Runner.
Deckard?
Deckard, yeah.
But still, nonetheless, I was the letter D was the only one that was working in my mind. So shush. No pun intended there.
So Paul has D's on the mind. Okay.
Yep.
He needs a D.
You know what?
That's what you get, Paul.
No,
I'm wearing this shirt. I think that I need to put on the Team Paul shirt instead of the Team Christy shirt. What do you guys think?
I don't know. I like
as long
the
as you don't take your shirt off, I think that needs to be a stipulation of the stream here.
No, that's when he gets the.
All right. It's 25 minutes in, and we only have covered the flashback.
Yeah.
I wanted to go early so apropos could join us. Guess what? We're going the same amount of time. We go to the Borg cube. They have a lock on Rios's ship, and the female Lannister is killing all the Borg to try to get Hugh to talk.
And looking hot while doing it.
Yes, she does.
And Narek boarded a ship to follow Rios, to follow the little tracking oral suppository.
Took off in a hurry.
In a hurry,
that little
too.
ship had a punch.
And she kills everybody except for Hugh, which she says she can't do because of a treaty.
Laws. You know.
Yep.
Laws.
And so, therefore, she walks away, and we find out that Space Legolas is staying on the cube, which we knew about in the coming up on the next episode of.
Yep.
And then it cuts away. Anything from that?
Apart from Space Legolas's music sounding more and more like the music from Lord of the Rings, which I think they're doing deliberately.
No, isn't this? I don't think you have it here, but doesn't this? Doesn't Hugh get killed in this?
No. Thanks for spoiling that.
But he doesn't.
No, not in this scene. That's way down the
Is it way down the line?
It's like 10 minutes later.
Episode, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Spoilers.
So Luke and Soji appear on Neosporin, whatever the name of that planet was. Then we
Neosporin?
find out Kestra, this girl named Kestra, basically holds up Jean-Luc and Soji.
Nerd moment. Kestra is a name we've heard in Star Trek before. Who amongst the nerds here recognizes it?
She didn't recognize it.
I didn't.
I thought of Kess from Voyager.
No, Kestra was the name of Diana's oldest sister that we did not know about until the episode in The Next Generation where Loxana was losing her mind because of the repressed memory of it.
So we saw that in Next Generation. We saw both of them?
No, Deanna's older sister, not her daughter. So she named her daughter after her older sister.
That's really sweet.
Gotcha. And they also well, we'll get to that. We'll get to another inspiration for names here. We find out that Jean-Luc did know who Kestra is. It was somebody that Jean-Luc knew. And we find out that she had a brother, or has a brother at that point. Soji gets triggered by Kestra saying the name Android. And then all of a sudden Soji thinks that Jean-Luc is playing mind games with her. And then we find out that it is
Kestra runs home.
That Kestra gets home and Deanna Troi is the mother. So therefore that means that the father is Riker. Who, by the way, was using an Amazon Echo because apparently he said music off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you see,
cool
50. It was
Bill.
50-50. It could have been Riker. It could have been Worf. She did have the crazy hair going.
Except she did get married to Riker in the movie.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
But time passes. And
Time passes and canon means nothing to these people.
25% different, baby.
Yeah.
So, they started using a new language, and it was really, really adorable to watch Riker and Troi and Kestra all communicating in this language. It was fun. It was fun. It made it feel like a family. You really got a family feel from this.
Yeah.
It's like a home feeling. Not at home, but the closest you'll find again.
Yeah.
So, but then Kestra starts asking Soji about questions about Data, whether or not she had, mucus and had dreams and things like that. And, that was another point where it was like really, really neat to see.
Now, I also have one question there, though. Do androids dream of electric sheep?
Yes.
Well, no, she dreams of a thunderstorm and her kids.
Well, that's the only dream we've seen. That doesn't mean it's the only dream she's had.
I actually
Sorry.
The Next Generation episode where Data kind of died, and there was a plasma spark or something that caused him to actually dream, and he dreamed of his father as a blacksmith working on a bird's wing, and then he was a bird. Still no sheep.
That was the dream that kicked in his emotion chip. That the dreaming subroutine that was part of his emotion chip.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we get a thing that kind of took me out was Soji is coming to grips very, very quickly about being a synth.
Yeah.
Then we find out about a Star Trek character that was named after one of our very own panelists, Thaddeus. Thaddeus was the first male child of Troi and Riker, and he died. And by the way, there was a terrible Photoshop of Jean-Luc holding a baby in that scene.
Yeah, that
holding it out like this.
Yeah, holding him over the edge of the cliff.
How all adults hold children.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really bad Photoshop. I was shocked by that. But I hate to tell you this. Riker's full name is William Thaddeus Riker. Or William Thomas Thaddeus Riker. So when they split him into two people, The other one went by Thaddeus, or Thomas. while he
Oh
ran
yeah,
around.
I remember that
And
episode.
William
Yeah,
stayed back.
I remember that
William
episode. Yeah,
continued living his best life. Yeah.
because he was just a lieutenant, wasn't he?
Yeah.
and he was like,
So
yeah,
we get
I'm
both
going to
middle
bugger off
names.
so that I can become you, but a different you.
I'm gonna go steal the Defiant Sea in about 10 years.
So both middle names of the characters are used as the names of the other of the children.
No. Deanna had the older sister that passed away.
Oh,
when she
okay.
was little. And that's who they named the daughter after.
Is
Family.
Riker's
a really
doppelganger
touching-
still alive somewhere in the
How do we know
Star
this
Trek
isn't
universe?
Riker's doppelganger?
Cardassian prison and Riker's doppelganger did not have anywhere near the same kind of attitude that William did, since he was trapped for 10 years on a planet. And then last time we saw him was going to a Cardassian prison. So the odds of him being alive or in good condition are incredibly low.
Yep.
But he did escape and got to this planet. The soil has regenerative properties, so
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
it'd be in good condition.
That explains how
All I
big
know
Riker is.
Riker's been eating
Because
a lot of
basil
potatoes.
grows like
Yeah.
weeds here.
It would explain the 2 episodes that he directed. You know, his evil doppelganger was directing it, which is why he allowed the F-bombs, and you know,
The eyeball bolt.
he lost his balls.
So after we get the terrible Photoshop of a picture of Captain Picard holding a baby next to a trophy that was awarded to Thaddeus inside the Riker home. Did you
I have
follow?
many trophies.
We are back on the ship, back on the ship Del Rios, and Narek is trailing them while he's playing with a fidget cube. The doctor wants to go home because she feels guilty, and guess what we got, Neil?
Yeah, we got exactly what I loathe, despise. No, you know, loathe isn't strong enough a word. Mega loathe. I mega loathe F-bombs, and it just pisses me off every time they do it in this show now.
So this one felt, if any of them felt justified, this is the only one that I could justify. If I had to defend only one F-bomb.
No F-bombs are justifiable.
Oh, I agree. I'm not arguing the fact that it is, but if I had to, this is the one.
I'm with you there, Paul. Like it does pull me out. It does make me think, like, why? Because that's not what I do associate with Star Trek. In fact, I watched this with my wife, and she's not watched any of the episodes so far. And I mean, we've watched tons of like dark comedies and stuff that swears all the time, and it doesn't faze her, except when the kids are around, obviously. But like, she was like, "Isn't this Star Trek?" And like, for someone who knows nothing necessarily about the universe. And again, I mean, she actually knows more than I do because her mom's this huge Trekkie. But like, she knows that that's not something in this universe, right? But Paul, I'm with you. Like, this is one of the few that didn't feel forced. The other ones were like thrown in there just to give it the mature rating. But this one legitimately felt natural.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Deanna didn't drop an F-bomb when she crashed the Enterprise, so...
Well, how do you know? Because if she crashed it...
They showed us it.
I'm just saying, if she crashed it, there would have been a lot of noise around.
Watch Star Trek Generations.
That's too much effort.
All right.
Hey, Kirk and Picard in the same movie. They even fight.
And
So-
they chop wood. That's always nice.
We're back on the ship, and Raffi is talking to the doctor, and she starts calling herself Auntie Raffi. Auntie Raffi's got some feel good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's stoned.
She got her cake.
She's taken hits from the bong.
Yeah. From the space.
Come on.
Space bong. Yeah, I'm curious. This can't just be nicotine here. I really think that
she is vaping some good stuff.
She's
vaping some good stuff. Yeah, she is. Yeah. She is replicating some good stuff and popping it in that vaporizer, and
yeah.
And she must be Canadian
or from Colorado.
So
Canadian's better.
We're given reprieve from Auntie Raffi as they head back to Planet Nephites. And the next thing we do is we see Riker making pizza.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to stop you there. Although I do love the Nephite point. The planet's name is Nepenthe. Okay?
Yeah, Nefertiti, Neosporin.
Yes. Nepenthe, if you look it up. So this was one of the things that, like, I'm watching with my wife, and she's like, did they just say Nepenthe? And I was like, yeah, why? And she's like, Nepenthe is a drug mentioned a number of times in the works of Edgar Allan Poe, and the drug is meant to banish, and I just looked it up right now, it's banished grief or trouble from a person's mind.
Well,
it's a drug that induces forgetfulness, right?
And that's why they're on that planet.
Yeah, right. And I gotta say, when she told me that, that's something I would never have thought. I actually stopped and tried to explain to her what was going on in the show. She's like, "No, I don't care." But but it was cool that that's what they did. That they created this planet for this couple, this family, to grieve the loss of their child.
No, he was alive when they went to the planet. They went to the planet.
But he
to help because they thought it might help him.
That's true, but he was dying though, right? Mm-hmm. And so, like, they went there to do this to help potentially save him, but it turns out it didn't. I think this is a really cool moment for the writers, to have included something like that in this text. I thought it was just really neat once it was explained to me. But had it not been explained, I would have completely overlooked it and not even thought anything about it. So,
I didn't even know that.
Cool.
Yeah, I just thought it was a really cool side trivia fact. But
now you said that it was Edgar Allan Poe. I would have been very, very. I would have been amazed in a way that they went to Nepenthe, if it was works of J.R.R. Tolkien. Because here's the reason. Tolkien invented languages.
Yeah.
And so did Thad. 11, if you don't count the butterfly one, they counted as 12, as they said.
That's impressive.
I really think there's a lot of really cool concepts here. It is also used, according to Google, in Homer's Odyssey. So, something there.
And I'm a French model on Google.
Yeah.
Bonjour.
I'm looking that up. Hold on.
So, Thad got sick, and it was easily curable, apparently. But it was only curable with a positronic matrix, which essentially is a brain of a droid. And because there was a droid ban, they could not create. They couldn't save Riker's child.
I'm curious. How does the science of a positronic net, an artificial brain, do anything for any kind of virus?
It was a silicon-based disease, apparently.
Yeah.
But still, that sounds like technobabble for how you can tie the two together.
It probably is, but how I pictured it was kind of like a blood filtration sort of thing for the disease that, like, if you run whatever was affecting him through the positronic network, it would filter out the things that were making him sick. That's how I pictured it as they were talking.
Yeah, kind of like a dialysis of sorts with the disease.
Dialysis.
I mean, that's the way that I imagined it. I'm right there with you, Christy.
Yeah, and even after all this sharing, Soji still doesn't trust anyone Troy doesn't blame her, and Soji gave Picard a gigantic push. And now we get to the Borg cube where I was excited. You know, Hugh and Elnor. I was going to start calling them Hunor.
Buddy cop.
Hunor.
Yeah, I was their relationship was going to be Hunor. And
a very odd couple situation.
It would have been great. It would have been great, but you know, we ended up getting more lens flare than damn J.J. Abrams movie. And the next thing we know, you know, the female Lannister.
You just not remember her name.
I don't remember her name. All I remember, you know,
the Hot Romulan.
Hot Romulan. Yeah, Hot Romulan.
Yeah, Romulan Lannister. Cersei Lannister.
And Cersei's not hot.
There's a man with his wife behind him.
Ends up throwing a dagger right into Hugh's throat, and we lose Hugh.
It's just like how Dobby died.
Yeah, it is just like how Dobby died.
Why you gotta bring up Dobby, man? Why you gotta bring up Dobby? I'm just kidding. But yeah.
Oh, God.
Thank you, Thaddeus, for finding the Paul Anthony Foundation.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So, you know, the last words of Hugh to Elnor were that you need to find an ex-Borg.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got to go through this ship to find this ex-Borg.
Aren't there like thousands of ex-Borgs on the ship?
Right, but do they know how to run all the, you know, would they be able to have the access that Hugh had? That's going to be the question.
That's fine.
Guys, we know an ex-Borg already. We've already
we've met a few of them, haven't we?
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll definitely get to that. We end up back on what's Spanish for ship? Galleon de Rios.
Yeah.
The love boat.
The love boat. Anti-Raffi is still helping the Doctor.
Well, this time with actual cake.
Yeah, with actual cake on Planet Raffi. I think she said Planet Raffi, didn't she?
I think so.
Yeah.
And with actual cake, trying to sweeten up. Maybe she thought that the Doctor's sugar was a little too low.
Oh, she did say Planet Raffi when she got the chocolate milk.
Yeah, that's right.
She did.
Yeah, and then I was disturbed by the throw-up scene.
Okay. This whole thing has made me a little upset that they are tainting the good name of oh crap, I had a whole bit for this.
Red velvet cake. Who throws up after eating too much red velvet cake? I mean, come on, really? I could eat an entire red velvet cake and not throw up.
Like, seriously.
I mean, who needs to be hungry to eat red velvet cake?
Yeah, you don't even need to. You could be totally full and be like, all right, I'll eat the whole freaking cake.
Yeah, don't need to be hungry to eat cake, donuts, or chicken nuggets.
Thank you. Nev, I have never agreed with you more than I do absolutely right now. Cake, donuts, chicken nuggets, all right there. But like here, the one thing that's bothered me about this whole episode is their blatant disregard for food. Right? Like they're ripping into this chocolate cake. They burn the pizza. I mean, this is just disrespectful on a number of levels. And as a former foodie, a recovering foodie, I was a little upset by this. I'm a little triggered right now. I got to say, red velvet cake is delicious. Had she thrown up cheesecake, I would have broken my TV. I would have been.
I'm making myself a red velvet birthday cake to eat during the show on Friday of next week.
Happy birthday early.
And I'm going to eat the whole damn thing during the show.
I'll think of you while I'm working.
Great. So next week there'll be a lot of editing where I edit out
You'll be like,
No, that's the time for you to get in everything you want to say that you know I'm going to argue against. You just got to wait for me to put a mouthful of cake in, and then it's like, quick, I need to say something that I know Nev's going to disagree
hyperdrive bundle is the best thing ever.
Oh, I'll be like,
Leia was a master Jedi. Rose Tico's the best character ever written.
see, exactly. You could
The
make
sequel trilogy
Mary
is the
Poppins.
best. Is saying
Stop it,
Star Wars.
Mary
You've got to give me
Poppins
trigger
is
Episode 4.
Stop it, or I'm going to go to my safe space.
Save space?
Because I'm such a weak ass pussy that your mean words are going to cause me physical harm. So
Okay, right guy.
right, that's it.
Oh,
All
geez.
right.
See?
Oh.
You killed apropos there, Neil.
Everyone's triggered.
All right, so
Wanted to take a trip.
we find out they're still being tailed by this exact same person. The warp signature is the same, everything. And so I think this was Jahardi's first attempt to get rid of the tracker by throwing up. But I mean, it's honestly, it's been in her digestive system for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
it's
So
not going anywhere.
I guess apparently it's not going anywhere.
I thought they would take her to the medical bay to scan her, but I was disappointed every opportunity.
It's like a what's the word? A pestle and what? Mortar and pestle?
Mortar and pestle,
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we then return to the Riker home. There's dinner going on, and Picard asks Soji to trust him, basically saying, use all of your abilities to see that I'm not trying to deceive you. She replies, basically saying that there is, she knows he's not lying, and then Riker tries to butt in and say, "Look, I've known him for 35 years," and Troy stops him in his tracks. But I think Soji does have a connection there, and Soji's just looking for her home world, and she wants to go there.
I want to go to there.
Yep.
It's interesting how they present the children's concept of being born on a starship, being raised on a starship, and longing for a home world. That's something that's so alien to our entire species. None of us know that particular feeling, so it's interesting how they made that a major subplot storyline to the whole idea of this.
Go ahead, Christy.
You keep like
I'm going to have to disagree with you there, mate. I'm an ex-pad brat.
Yeah, but you're like this close to the camera, and then you're like shoving your hand in my face. Okay, so I think that going and visiting the Rikers and finding out about Thad, it's providing us a parallel. So you find out about Thad, who was loved and cherished, but lost too soon, and he invented languages, and he had this adorable, rich, full life until he died as a small child. You don't really know how old he was when he died, but
Yes.
the sister remembers him, so he can't have been too old or died too long ago. And he invented these languages, and what he wanted more than anything was to have a world of his own. And he really found that in this place where they've decided to stay since he passed. And I think all of that is providing a parallel for Soji, learning who she is, finding a world of her own, and finding out what she can do and what she brings to the world.
Yeah, I think, Christy, you're right. I think that there's definitely a parallel between her and Thad. One of the things, I do think that I think he was 17 when he died, though. I feel like that he didn't die as a young child. I think they actually gave his age, and I think it was 17, but I don't fully recall. So I might be dead wrong. But I will say that one of the things that is interesting here is I don't think Soji necessarily is longing for the home world. I just think she's looking for some normality, because everything's been thrown in the mix. The one thing that I love, and we kind of glossed over, is when Soji pushes Picard Picard's like, well, what? You know, he's like, well, she could have thrown me through the air. Riker's wife, what was her name again?
Deanna Troy.
Deanna Troy, yeah. She makes this
That's
comment,
a sin.
and she scolds Picard, right? And she's like, "You have no idea what you're talking about." And I really think that's probably one of the most. That conversation was one of the most well developed to this point that we've seen in the show, because it gives insight from an outside perspective of what Soji's going through. Because like so far, and I don't think they've done a great job showing her emotional state. It's kind of like all over the place in my mind. But like this perspective, for some reason, for me, made sense. And I think that she's just looking for some sense of purpose, some belonging. And I think ultimately that she'll find that with Picard and crew, whatever that looks like in the future. But I don't know if it's the home that she's looking for necessarily. The not the home, the planet that she's looking for. I think she's just looking for a home, whereas the boy, and I think that's the parallel. I think the boy was looking for a planet. A home planet, but he was on a starship. They're taking her to a home planet, but she's going to find home on the starship, right? I think that's the parallel, and I 100% agree with you. I think that's what they were doing here, and I really like how this episode did that. I think it was really well done.
Yeah. So what we found out is, Soji explained all the things that she saw in this translated dream, and they talked about this crazy old captain that they knew that had a failing ship, and we see daughter Picard or daughter Riker. What was her name? Kestra. We see Kestra texting underneath the table,
as children are wont to do.
Yeah, as children are wont to do.
Yep.
And she was texting the crazy old guy, and she found the planet that they were talking about. 2 blood red moons and electric storms galore from this crazy old guy. And very quickly, mind you.
Yeah. Why is she texting an old man? I mean, did that bother anyone else? I just thought it was weird.
They're friends. Now, the Romulans couldn't manage to find the planet with that same description. They resort to following Rios's crew. But, yeah, as soon as she starts texting this random old guy who happens to live nearby, Ben Kenobi, then suddenly, we know exactly which planet it is out of the millions of planets that are mapped in the galaxy.
I think you're wrong, though. I think they did find the planet, because she said good job, and that's when he turned around and killed her. So I think she found it, but he's following the crew, so that he follows her, and Hot Romulan can go after the planet.
Yeah, they said that they were going to be like, that we can use that to find it. She said something along those lines. Not that, because of this indicator, I know exactly the one planet we're talking about, but that they were going to find it based on that. I don't know that they had found it yet.
It is left unclear whether they've found it.
The dogs just opened the door and walked away.
He disagrees with you. So I think you're right, Christy. I think they do leave it. I think they leave it unclear. I have a feeling that Romulan brother
Narek.
I'm just gonna call him Romulan brother, because I feel like he's gonna die soon. I think he wasn't searching for the planet. I think he's going after Soji. I think he's trying to make amends.
I think he's going to switch sides. That's what I think.
Yeah, it's written all over his face. It's being telegraphed. He is definitely switching sides. He's going to find her and he's going to be like, I wasn't trying to kill you. I was using radiation and you're synthetic and you're, more resistant to radiation. And I knew it would trigger you and I knew it would activate you and I knew you'd escape. So I wasn't trying to kill you. I really do love you.
And the sister will have followed him because she'll have been prepared for him to be falling in love. So she already accused him of that. So
And
she'll be following the brother
one more time before ultimately being like, I can't trust you, and then he'll die.
Yep.
That's how that's going to work.
Sister kills brother.
Hot sister kills.
Yep.
Love struck brother.
In a incestuous way. Yes.
Yep.
At least it's not cruel intentions level, yeah.
Yeah.
So we then return to the Astronave del Rios. I looked it up. That's spaceship for that's Spanish for spaceship.
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 Astronave!
Astronave. Ross offers the doc. Ross offers the doctor. Rios offers the doctor a way to shift the blame, and she didn't put it on Rafi. He's like, I think it's Rafi that's that's the one who's being tracked here, and so she said to him, it's not Rafi. So she pretty much admitted to Rios, somebody on the ship, and there's
All of
three people on the ship right now.
Yeah, I was getting a heavy Donnie Brasco vibe. I was getting a heavy Donnie Brasco vibe from that scene. I'm like, I'm just thinking. This is the Lefty Donnie scene in the car where it's like, what do we do with a rat, and it's always like, oh god, what's going on here? Is he going to figure it out? Is it somebody else? Yeah.
So as soon as hi dog, as soon as she says it's not Rafi, and you can see on her face she's about to admit everything. She's like 30 seconds away. He walks away and goes back up to the bridge.
No, he doesn't walk away. He gets discovered again. They said he's back.
Yeah, so he goes back to the bridge to deal with this.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, part of me is I'm torn because I really want him to not be so love struck by her, because that doesn't seem like their relationship. You know?
Yeah, but she's already given it up once, so he's going to be nice in case she gives it up again.
He's in space. He could go anywhere. I'm sure there's planets.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure there's men that would give it up for him, but he's got a holodeck. He could get his rocks off in the holodeck. But...
Yeah. So.
Yeah, but then you got to clean it.
But regardless, like my
quality hologram for that, it's fine.
So I just.
And it looks like him as well.
Yeah,
that's true.
Oh,
the hospitality hologram is for.
That's true, and that just makes things more awkward, I guess. But like this conversation, part of me wants to know that he's not so stupid to believe that it's Rafi. But like, I can understand his reasoning. I think he was trying to give her the out. Like, I know that it's you.
I thought so too, but then when he the very next thing is he goes up to the bridge, and it feels like he's kind of accusing Rafi.
Yeah, and that's what's so frustrating is like that's what I want. But you're right. I think
it's all over Jahardi's face that it's her. She's freaking out and throwing up and whatever, and she's acting very guilty. And you go up and you're like, "Hey, Rafi, do you know what this is about?" Like, really?
No EMH either. I mean, she
sorry.
gets slight anxiety attack. A few episodes, and the EMH instantly kicks in, and she starts throwing up. No EMH.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so she does start having one of those annoying panic attacks again, and she, I don't know if you noticed, the replicator now looks like a 3D printer.
Yeah, I noticed that. I'm like, why is there a 3D printer on his ship?
Because we're trying to get closer and closer to Star Trek science being real science.
So
25% different.
She 3D printed a way to kill herself. And
yeah, she made a 3D printed gun.
She made
literally.
injected it into her neck, and then I was disturbed by the whole foaming at the mouth thing.
She gave herself rabies.
She gave herself rabies. We did not need the foaming of the mouth, but apparently it worked because Narek starts getting upset that he no longer has a connection.
Yeah. He lost the signal. The EMH shows up and says that she's in a coma now. So she didn't quite kill herself, but she did enough that they can't track him now.
Yeah.
We think. Maybe it'll come back.
You never know.
Maybe when she's out of the coma. But we end up back with Elnor quickly, only for just a moment, for a little scene where Elnor is running around the ducks, and he has this little keychain. He pushes the keychain, and on it said Fenris SOS engaged. We've met a Fenris Ranger before.
A Fenris Ranger who's an ex-Borg.
Oh!
Gandalf to the rescue.
Yeah, so I
blow the horn.
That's not where I want this to go.
7 of 9.
That's not where I want this to go. I want him to assimilate into the Borg and become the new queen. That was exactly what I was thinking was going to happen.
So Elnorg?
Elnor.
Elnorg.
Elnor, yeah. He becomes the new queen. He's just naive enough to fall for it.
I would have gone with Belnor, but that's just me.
Belnor? No, I like Elnorg.
I like Elnor.
Yeah.
No, I want. I don't. No. I bring back 7 and 9. I want to see some more Jerry Ryan.
I always kind of wanted to see 7 of 9 become the Borg queen. So I'm on board.
I mean, she says resistance is futile. I'd be like, hey, baby, I ain't resisting shit.
Guys, I'm really sorry. I have to run. I have to be leaving for work.
Okay, Apro, real quick, because we are right at the end here.
Warp course.
How many warp cores do you give this episode?
I'd say 3.5. It didn't have a lot of action, but it definitely had a lot of homesickness in it. We got to see some old friends. We got to see how their lives progressed, and not always for the positive. So we got to see some missed loved ones here. So I'll give it a 3.5.
3.5. All right, Apro, thank you for joining the show. And
thanks for having me.
We'll possibly see you next week. Do you have the kids next week?
I'm working. I'll be working. Oh no, wait, on Sunday. I don't know. We'll see. I'll always try to make it, so we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, we look forward to possibly having you on again next week. Thank you so much for coming on and being a guest panelist with us.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. We'll catch you later.
Catch you later, buddy.
Long and prosper.
Yes, the coronavirus. I saw that. The coronavirus says use the Vulcan salute to say hi to everybody.
Oh, that sounds very infinite combinations to me. Anyways.
All right. See ya, Apro. So, we end up back on the he did leave right at the perfect time because we find out that Riker is still on active reserve as they're sitting on the dock. I can't
imagine how active that reserve is. He's got a pot belly and all he's doing is making pizza.
And then we see the daughter drawing Soji, and she basically tells him, "You could have Picard as your good friend." And outside, she gives Soji her broken compass, and Picard says to beam up. But we didn't hear him call Rios. Is he going back to Astronave del Rios?
He's obviously, because he kept wandering off and checking. There was one point in the pizza making, tomato eating scenes where he walked up. He's still can't reach them. Yeah,
but then later on, he does reach them, and he says, "I'm in the same place." I mean, it was right before.
Yeah.
It's like he asks for an ETA, and it says it's exactly the same as the previous 2 occasions I told you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Although it would be interesting to see this other captain, this old man who is talking to the kid. I mean, I really think that could be somewhere that they take this. I mean, I don't think that it is, but it'd be an interesting twist to see that.
I think that'll come up because you can't just like have a throwaway character who happens to know everything and we not see him.
Yeah.
But she said that his ship wasn't working. So I think it's going to end up being that like he works on the ship or something that they do means that like they help him fix the ship and that's how they'll end up saving the day.
Well, I mean,
I don't see that happening next episode.
The obvious one to me is 7 of 9 turns up, saves Elnor. Elnor and 7 of 9 leave the Borg cube, go to where they know that Picard went to, and then obviously Picard and Rios and the crew have already headed off to the 2 planets. So this captain who knows the way to the 2 planets goes with Elnor and 7 of 9, and they all meet up.
That would be good.
That's the way I see it happening.
Yep.
All right.
It'll be just like when the Hobbits split off and one set went to
Isengard.
Yeah.
And Mordor?
Sorry.
Yeah.
So,
Frodo and
did
Sam
they walk
went to
there?
Mordor. One does not.
They're taking the Hobbits to Isengard.
All right. So, anyway, Neil, it is time. Spoiler duck.
Spoiler duck.
So, next week, we see that 7 of 9 is, in fact, back. Here, hang on, let me put spoiler duck in between Christy and I. 7 of 9 is back. We get some creepy Romulan druids gathered around some magic circle.
That's gonna be mega 1,000 year ago flashback, something that caused everybody to have this hatred of sense.
Okay.
I think that's where that's going.
We do get to see Elnor fighting. We find out that the Doctor does survive and asks Rios, "Do you believe in hell?" And Rios looks really, really angry. It appears that he ended up on Rios. It does look like he did end up on Rios' ship again. Picard did. And Christy mentioned that she thinks that they are going to plug 709 back into the Borg cube.
Yeah, it looks like she was hooked up and plugged in, and it looks like her eyes kind of went dark. Like maybe she's re-assimilating herself.
Yeah, I didn't check that far ahead, but I could totally see her taking the cube to this place.
That would be fun. So we do know that, and that is true. That was the point where I went, "Holy crap! 7 of 9 is an ex-Borg." So, all right.
So proud of you.
So
we've only known that for 15 years.
Shut up. Well, you didn't think of it at first. I'm taking the duck down.
The duck is down.
All right. So we've discussed the on next week. We do that also with clones when we know things that we shouldn't, if you will.
Yes.
But Neil, how many warp cores out of 5?
3.
3.
I'm curious. Why
reasons?
3?
It loses a whole warp core because of the F-bomb.
Okay.
And
For
the as far as I'm concerned, the character development is going in the wrong direction for a couple of my favourite characters, so I'm not liking where their characters are going. So, but that's just personal
like
preference.
Space Legolas?
No, he's fine.
Like
I don't like what's happening with I don't like where the Doctor's character is going.
Right.
That bug, that really just I've loved that. I've ever since that first episode. I've loved ever since the first few episodes. I've loved that character, and I'm liking her less and less and less. And Rios is just doing my head in at the moment. So yeah, so the F-bomb and that is what loses the warp cores for me.
All right, Thaddeus, I'm going to go to you next.
Well, it does lose a whole warp core because of the way that it portrayed Red Velvet Cake. Very disappointing. A whole warp core. I mean, that, and then they burnt the pizza. I'm not a fan of margarita pizza, but I mean, clearly that's what he was making. And with poisonous bunny sausage. I don't know what kind of bunnies there are on that.
Bunny corn.
Huh?
So it's like a unicorn, but it was bunny corn.
Bunny corn. Yeah, terrifying bunny that would be, that can poison you. There's a whole point for the pizza and the food destruction. But I would actually say they gain part of that point back based on some of the characterization. Unlike Neil, I kind of like the way that they're taking the Doctor. I do think that she's walking a very fine line. Her character is, at least, between I don't know, like being overplayed, like overdeveloped or underdeveloped, right? I don't think she's just going to be. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I do like that. I don't necessarily care for Rios. I'm actually gonna give it 3.75. I'm taking an additional quarter off, so I'm still upset about the food.
Really upset about that cake.
I am.
Don't mess with cake.
I've got a carrot cake upstairs. I'm very excited.
That makes me hungry.
It's from Costco.
You're making me hungry.
All
Stop
right.
it.
For me, I'm giving you the close. Don't whine.
What?
Jeez.
You always go to me first. It made me feel special.
Well, I'm saving you for last because it makes you feel special. Shush. All right. So, for me, I'm going to actually give this one a 3.9. It loses one whole one for the F-bomb, as we've pretty much
been consistent.
It gains 0.4 because I feel the F-bomb might have been justified in, if this was a PG-13 movie, they're allowed one F-bomb. And I think this is the spot where that one F-bomb should have went. But then it loses a whole half for the disturbing foaming at the mouth rabies scene. The rest of everything I enjoyed. I'm still on the fence with the Doctor. I'm not too sure about that. But 3.9 is mine. Mrs. Anthony, close us out.
I'm going to go higher. I'm going to give it a 4.25. And here's my reasoning. I like the nostalgia. I like that they took Riker and Troy and they aged them gracefully. They didn't say, they're going to be exactly the same people that they were at the end of Next Generation. They put them in a place in their lives that you could really, you can understand how they got to that point. And I loved the vulnerability. We didn't really discuss it, but Troy's really worried about her daughter. She's lived through the death of one child, and she's really worried about that happening again. And that seems like a really relatable fear. And I liked that Auntie Raffi gave her cake, and it was actually cake. I thought she was going to, snuggle her in a corner or something. But it turned out that she was eating cake, and she was eating way too much. And I'm like, I've been there. I've ate too much cake. I really, I felt like this was an episode of Star Trek that I could have lived in as a normal person. There wasn't a lot of fighting. There wasn't a lot of technology. It was kind of like hanging out and learning about people. And this felt more relatable than most science fiction does. So I really liked it.
I can see that.
All right, that puts us at an average of 3.68 for this episode. Pretty much a full point drop from the previous episode. I really enjoyed the previous episode. Maybe we'll get back to Star Trek that we enjoy on the next week. But that does it for us. Any parting words, Mrs. Anthony? We'll go reverse.
Yeah, just looking forward to it.
All right, Thaddeus.
I hope that this next episode does not bash food like this last one did.
And
we'll
Neil.
No F-bombs.
Thank you.
We can hope. We can certainly hope. Guys, with that being said, thank you very much for tuning into this episode of Talking Picard on the Escape Pod Castaways Content Creator Network, hosted on the Escape Pod channel, the Escape Pod Cast channel, I should say. And we really appreciate you guys. We're trying to push to 1,000. Keep plugging away. Tell your friends. If you enjoy this stuff, tell your friends. We would love to have you. Love to hit that 1,000, so we can move things along a little bit more. And until next week. Actually, after this, if you're watching this live, or if you're watching it recorded, technically, head on over to Going Nerdy's channel for the second part of Nerd TV Sunday with Talking Clones. Yes? With Talking Clones.
Okay.
On Going Nerdy's channel live coming up shortly. So I got the Team Krittikae shirt. We have the Team Paul. Mrs. Anthony is the art director of the Castaways Network, if you will.
And have fun Star Trek shirts.
And fun Star Trek shirts as well. Check her out at Krittikae.com. It'll go to her Woot profile. Search for your Star Trek shirts, or go to Escape Pod Castaways.com and click on the merch link there. And check those out. Everything goes to support the channel. Everything pretty much lately has been channel only. I think I bought you a cake. I bought you a pineapple cake with that. That's where that came from. But aside from that, we'll have to send Neil a red velvet cake for his birthday. This Friday.
I will bake my own birthday cake.
Oh, you'll bake your own birthday. All right. So, guys, we'll see you guys next week, and we'll see you sometime this week for also the Lego Legacy Heroes Unboxed Escape Podcast episode. That's a pre-record. Lots of fun stuff. And check out Going Nerdy's channel. Thad, give us your sign-off.
Like, subscribe, share, join us always, and smile. And stay nerdy.
Be nice to each other, damn it. Neil, push the button.
You got it, mate. Ta-ta for now, folks.